Hey, welcome back, friends. So is this an e-bike or is this an e-motorcycle? It's kind of hard to tell, to be honest with you. I don't know why people keep sending me free e-bikes, and in this case, maybe a free e-motorcycle, but as long as they do, I'm going to keep showing them to you. This is the HappyRun G70 tank G70, and it is a tank. We'll talk about that a little bit today. There's pros and cons to this unit. Before we get started, help us pay some bills and check out today's video sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by rvmattress.com, a Brooklyn bedding brand.
Our family has enjoyed Brooklyn bedding mattresses for nearly 3 years. We love them and feel confident you will as well.
This particular model is called the Dream Foam Essential, which is their budget-friendly option. We've been very happy with this model, with its comfort and its durability.
With your RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, you get a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty.
For our family, the RV is our place to recharge for the next day. A comfortable night's rest is important, not only for mom and dad, but for the kiddos too.
Thank you, RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, for sponsoring today's video. After this video, head on over to rvmattress.com/wondering and get 30% off your next mattress using code WONDERING.
All right, let's hop back into today's video.
All right, guys, the tank G70 from HappyRun. Again, we're just going to call it an e-bike for now instead of calling it both e-bike, e-motorcycle. We're going to do pros and cons, and then we're going to take it for a spin. So that should be fun. It's got a lot of power. That is one pro to it. We'll talk about that. Let's do pros first. So obviously you see dual batteries. Now these batteries work as one. Even, you can only have this one if you're trying to lighten your load a little bit. You can only have the top one if you'd like. You're not required to use this one. But when you do have them both, they work as one. So you don't have to switch back and forth. You don't have to worry about one dying and then having to switch to this one. They work as one. So that's kind of a cool new feature that I haven't seen yet on e-bikes. Full suspension, that is a big pro. I love that, especially at my age. I'm 45, I'm getting a little bit older. I like a squishy ride. And you can see the suspension both rear and forward. You got a big squishy seat right there. Now that's also, we'll talk about, that's a con as well, but as far as comfort is concerned, that's a big pro for the most part. Again, there's a con there, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. I mentioned you got a lot of power with this bike. You got a 1,000-watt motor, which is higher than the standard. A lot of times you'll see 500 watt, 750 watt. This one's 1,000 watt. This thing runs up to 36 miles an hour. You've got a nice big oversized headlight up here. Well, I'll show you that in just a second. I'll get it fired up here in just a second. You've even got blinkers. You can see blinkers on each side of this this e-bike. That's pretty cool. Nice squishy suspension that you can lock it out, and you can control how much travel that front fork has. I love that you can have an extra passenger here. So 330 pounds of payload. That allows my son Beckett to ride with me back here. He has done that several times. You can see it even has foot pegs for your passenger right there. That's also a problem. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but as it sits, that's a good thing. Here, let's fire it up for a second. I'll show you this big screen. You're basically going to hold this down. And then you have an RFID card, which I'm not super crazy about, because what if you lose these? It comes with 2, so that's good. And this screen right here. So as it sits, it's a big pro. I love the colors. I love the size of it. I mean, you can see it compared to my hand. It's a fairly big screen for an e-bike. The problem is you can't see it well at all in the sun. Now today we are cloud cover, and you can see it very, very well. And I love that, but yeah, in the sunshine, it's very difficult to see. Back you up a little bit, you can see you got a horn. That's actually a very significant horn for an e-bike. Here's your blinkers. So it's actually just a switch, you can see. And it's kind of cool. You can hear the indicator letting you know that it's on, so you're not constantly running around with your blinkers. You can see here. Let's do the other side. So that's kind of like I hit one and then the other, and so now you have kind of caution lights. You can see both of them on there. And then we can turn this one off and have just the left-hand side as well. So the blinkers are kind of cool. You've even got a place for a tag. So I'm not sure, let me turn this off. I'm not sure if these are street legal or, roadworthy enough to be street legal, but apparently some places, they figured put a tag holder on there for some reason. There's that big oversized front light. I do like that. It's very significant, way bigger than most e-bikes, and at night it really brightens things up. Because this thing is a little bit quicker, you want to be able to see down the road a little further, and this accomplishes that. I like that these are switches. You can hear it maybe. versus just a touchpad. It gives you a nice substantial click knowing you've hit that button. So this also has half throttle. So as it sits, it'll take off on me, but I can, this is a throttle versus a thumb throttle. You actually have a twist throttle, which is more like a motorcycle, of course. It's starting to rain, you can see that here. But I do like that. It's less fatiguing that way than pushing on a button for miles and miles at a time. Yeah, that's a bunch of the pros. Let's go into some cons. There are some significant ones. All right, the first con that I will speak of, and I really don't know why HappyRun decided to send an RV/camping channel a 100-pound bike, but this thing weighs 98 pounds. It's just really not suited for camping and RV travel. Now, obviously, if you have a toy hauler, it's gonna be a lightweight toy compared to other toys. But as far as like basic travel trailers, fifth wheels, you know, putting in the bed of your truck, you're gonna be hard pressed to lift this up into the bed of your truck. There aren't many bike racks that I know of that handle a 100-pound bike. Now they'll handle overall weight of over 100 pounds, but generally speaking, per bike, they ask you to be under 75 pounds. And this is obviously well over that. So the weight is a big con here. Now, as you're driving it, as you're riding it, the weight's a good thing because it makes everything more comfortable. It's more substantial. You got more mass moving down the road. But as far as camping's concerned, that's a big con. And yeah, I can't say I suggest this particular bike for camping purposes. All right, I had to let the rain slack off for a second. I'm out here in the rain for you folks. Come on, give me some props. I'm joking. All right, well, I'm going to show you the cargo rack here in just a second. And I do love this seat, except for the fact that you can't adjust it. There's obviously no up and down adjustment there. There's no forward to back. Now you can slide yourself forward and back. It's what I do. I end up being about right here. So there's still enough room for Beckett in the back, my 9-year-old. And we get her, it pulls us great. I mentioned it has plenty of power, but there's no up and down adjustment there. My knees are kind of, they're kind of up here a little bit when I'm pedaling this thing, or even when I'm just relaxed using the twist throttle, but there's no adjustment there. That's probably going to be a concern for some, especially when you're a little bit taller. I'm almost 6'2", and it's comfortable, but I would love to be able to adjust this up just a hair more, and you just can't do that. All right, finally, a big con for me, and this concerns me a little bit about the overall quality of the bike, is the fact that they neglected to thread the foot peg on this side. That's why it's not there. You can see on the other side is the folding foot peg. And I reached out to HappyRun and I said, hey, this foot peg is not, you can't install it. There's no threads there. And they're like, you know what? You're right. We neglected to thread those. Could you please just make short mention of it? And I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about it. If something like that happens, it makes me wonder about the rest of the bike. You can see that happened in shipping. It's not necessarily their fault. But then it also, a little bit concerning, some of these welds aren't exactly home runs in my book. They're okay, but you can see, I mean, there's a little void there, and yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit concerning on the quality. I haven't had any issues out of it except for that. It runs fine. It runs well, actually, but it stops well, all of that fun stuff. Everything functions. But it just concerns me a little bit overall if they forget something that important. Have they forgotten other stuff? I don't know, it's hard to say. So it seems to get pretty good reviews online, but I can only speak from my experience in this particular bike. Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, I don't know if you can see that, you can kind of see it a little bit, but it is extraordinarily hard to see in the sunlight. That is one con that I'm not sure I mentioned yet, but yeah, let's take it for a spin. Let's go back down by the lake. There we go. And yeah, it's got plenty of pop. You can see it gets going pretty quickly. And this chesty is just so-so. So I apologize for that, but yeah, here we go. Let's take it for a little spin. It's plenty of power, that is for sure. And this is a class 3, so it gets up to 28, I think it's 28 miles an hour on throttle and 36 miles an hour on pedal. I believe that's right. Again, I'm not an e-bike expert. I don't know why they send me these things, but they do. But this is a very comfortable ride. I don't know if you can see me right now. I'm just chilling. So we'll bring it back up the hill here in a second. You can see how it pulls 200, and I'm 204 this morning, I think. And I've lost over 50 pounds, guys. So the e-bike reviews, yeah, some of the ones that struggled before they might do pretty good now that I've lost a few pounds. But stuff like this bump coming up right here, and I mean, it's bouncy, but yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Let me make sure that we're on action mode here. I think we are. Let's see here. Yeah, we were on action mode. I wanted to make sure this thing's not bumping around too much. All right, let's go for a spin down here across the lake. And you can see it gets up and goes really good. This is a fast bike. And again, I love the twist throttle just because fatigue. You know, fatigue is pretty much non-existent when you got a twist throttle. You can just sit there and chill instead of pushing the button like this all the time. But yeah, it gets the job done as far as the power is concerned. And between the full suspension and squishy seat, it's probably the most comfortable bike I've experienced out of the 11 I've had. This is number 11. It's probably the most comfortable bike. Between the mass being 100 pounds or 98 pounds, and between the full suspension and the squishy seat, it's very, very comfortable. Let's hop up the grass. It's very capable of this type of thing. Big bump again. Yep. And then up the hill, let's see what it does. So we're gaining speed, 16s. That's fairly steep part, and then here we'll really get going. We're still going uphill, and this is something not all e-bikes can do. You know, if this was a 500 watt motor, I would not be able to gain speed right here. For this bike, it's not a problem. And I'm gonna break the law and go through that stop sign. But yeah, there you go. You can kind of see how it deals with hills. We'll see what there's 30, 31. So maybe it goes to 36 even in throttle mode. It's not wanting to get much more than 31. It's pretty flat right here. I do want to emphasize, even though the rotors on this thing are, they're a little bit smaller for this type of bike, the brakes are very good. Like it stops this 100-pound bike very well. So the brakes are a pro. The power's a pro, the weight's a con, the build quality is still up in the air. Yeah, there you go. And one thing's for sure, it does have power and pretty good stopping ability. All right, before we go, I wanted to show you what it looks like with the cargo rack. Now, pros and cons with this cargo rack as well. Light payload. So we just did another bike with 100-pound capacity, and this one's only 33-pound capacity. It's a nice wide rack, well built. You can see, heavy duty tubular steel. 4 bolts basically. These 4 bolts you can put the passenger seat back on. It's super simple. But yeah, there you go. Nice big rack, but a light payload. I just wanted to make sure I showed it to you with the optional cargo rack. This does not come with the bike. I think this is available through an additional purchase. Sometimes they're probably running a special where they include that as part of the special that they're running. All right, there you go, guys. The HappyRun Tank G70, yeah, motorcycle, e-bike, e-motorcycle, I don't know what you call it. I'm just not sure I'd take one of these camping. Seems to be a cool bike. Seems to be okay on the quality side. We'll see, I don't know. But camping wise, it's a little bit heavy. Toy hauler, maybe so. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I hope you guys are great out there. See ya.